Every single day, hundreds of thousands of people stand in line for hours outside the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. These are elderly farmers donating a portion of their harvest, mothers scraping together household savings, and ordinary citizens handing over cash with absolute faith that their devotion will reach its intended destination. But a few hundred meters away, inside a heavily fortified counting room, an organized syndicate of insiders was systematically pocketing those exact donations. Major temples in India, like Vaishno Devi or Tirupati, manage vast sums of wealth. To prevent theft, they operate under strict state-monitored trusts. Their ledgers are subject to government audits, and any citizen can demand to see the financial records using the Right to Information Act. The theft at the Ram Mandir succeeded because this vital layer of public oversight was entirely stripped away before a single brick was laid. When the court ordered a trust to build and manage the temple, the government established the Shri Janmabhoomi Teerth Kshetra in 2020. However, they classified it as a strictly autonomous private entity. That single legal distinction carried massive weight. It severed the trust from government control, meaning no mandatory state audits. It also completely blocked the public from filing RTI requests to track where their money was going. The government then populated this unaccountable board with political allies and associates. By shielding the trust from transparency laws and public scrutiny, the architects of this system effectively left the vault door unlocked from the inside. The warning signs appeared almost immediately. In November 2020, a private audit firm evaluated the trust's initial operations, explicitly warning of highly unprofessional bookkeeping. They flagged a lack of internal checks that would inevitably invite theft. The trust leadership buried the report. When construction engineer Dinanath Verma discovered that bills were being inflated to cover a 40% kickback demand for a trust member, he objected. His payments were frozen, he was removed from his post, and he received death threats. The State Bank of India was brought in to professionalize the cash counting process, but they were pressured to abandon standard hiring protocols. Instead of vetted professionals, the trust stacked the counting room with their own loyalists, relatives, nephews, and personal drivers of trust members. These hires were paid a meager salary of around 12,000 to 20,000 rupees a month to sit in a room overflowing with millions in untraceable cash. Relying on nepotism to staff a high-trust environment created the exact conditions required for systemic corruption. On paper, the security looked impenetrable. The counting took place in a dedicated basement facility 200 meters from the temple. The room was monitored by an array of 1,600 CCTV cameras managed by TCS, and the 50 staff members were forbidden from leaving the room during their shifts, save for supervised restroom breaks. Because the crew consisted of locals who all knew each other and owed their jobs to the same trust members, they easily coordinated their movements. A few workers would stand in specific positions to deliberately block the camera angles, allowing others to quickly slide 500 rupee notes into their pockets. Using their permitted bathroom breaks, the thieves secretly stashed the stolen bundles of cash deep inside the washroom. At the end of their shift, they retrieved the hidden bundles, walked out of the secure facility, and divided the money among themselves outside.
This brute force method of skimming off the top went unnoticed for months. The operators understood that the trust's autonomous status meant no independent financial watchdog was ever going to cross-reference the daily intake. Eventually, trust officials noticed a suspicious drop in the volume of 500 rupee notes compared to smaller denominations. They added extra guards to the counting room to tighten physical security, forcing the thieves to invent a highly sophisticated mathematical workaround. The standard protocol required the staff to sort the chaotic piles of donated cash by denomination. These sorted notes were then banded into standardized bundles of exactly 100 notes to streamline the final bulk tallying. The counters inside the room began secretly stuffing 120 notes into these purportedly standard bundles. A stack that should have held 50,000 rupees now secretly held 60,000 rupees. The ledger clerk, who was part of the syndicate, would then draft the official accounting voucher for only 100 notes. By doing this, the extra 20 notes ceased to exist on paper. They were completely invisible to the bank's digital system. Couriers tasked with transporting the cash to the State Bank of India would simply pull over, open the bundles, and extract the 20 unlogged notes. When they arrived at the teller, the remaining 100 notes perfectly matched the fraudulent voucher. They bypassed the security cameras entirely. By manipulating the point of data entry, they weaponized the accounting system itself. The exploit was executed flawlessly because the entire chain of custody, from the counting table to the transport vehicle, was populated by a compromised network. By early 2026, the State Bank of India flagged the ongoing discrepancies and urged the trust to replace the counting staff. When the trust explicitly refused, bank officials bypassed them completely and secretly installed hidden cameras directly inside the counting room. The footage captured the theft in pristine detail. A government special investigation team was formed, and they raided the homes of the low-wage workers. They found a former auto rickshaw driver sitting on 50 crore rupees in property deeds, an ex-mechanic hiding stacks of cash inside cow dung, and newly purchased farmhouses. These raids accidentally fractured a much larger facade. Investigators uncovered a massive web of parallel operations running through the trust. This included 200 kilograms of silver bricks vanishing without receipts, and orchestrated land flips where a 2 crore property was resold to the trust for 18.5 crore rupees a mere 10 minutes later. The low-level operatives caught on tape were immediately arrested and jailed. The powerful figures who hand-picked them, ignored the audits, and created the environment that enabled the theft remained entirely untouched by the initial charges. The special investigation team spent weeks interrogating suspects and compiling evidence of the systemic failures at the very top of the trust's hierarchy. They finalized their preliminary report in June 2026. This critical investigative report was submitted directly to Additional Chief Secretary Sanjay Prasad. Sanjay Prasad is an active, sitting member of the exact same Ram Mandir Trust that the SIT was investigating. Public faith is easily monetized when transparency is treated as an optional feature. The government intentionally removed external audits and RTI access to create a frictionless system. The Ram Mandir heist proves that a system designed without independent oversight will always protect those operating at the top.